So I just put my name into IMDB. Someone slips into my DMs on Facebook. My husband shares the same name with you. She has OnlyFans. Acting, of course. I can't be doing that stuff.
And then an acting career lands on your path. That's just like an insane thing to happen.
Can I build an AI agent who does a lot of the tasks that I do, train that model to be me, to pay specialists to come in and maybe reduce the workforce by 20% by automating certain tasks within a business? From that will come in a lot of money. They want it done for them.
Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the Market Movers podcast. Today we are joined by Craig Campbell, a renowned SEO expert and digital marketing specialist. Not to be confused with the Canadian comedian of the same name, although Craig is a funny guy. He's a prominent figure in the digital marketing industry and widely recognized for his educational content, including his YouTube channel and podcast. Welcome to the show, Craig.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Craig, thanks for coming on. To start, we normally ask people about how they got their start in SEO, but I think everyone in this space, everyone in the marketing space, definitely the SEO space, knows your name. So maybe we could start with how you got your start in acting. You spoke in Chiang Mai 2023. I think it's probably the only speech I actually remember. The audience was dying laughing. So it's quite a unique thing in this space. Why don't you tell us about how you got started in that?
So the story goes, the shortened version, I was trying to trigger the knowledge panel and I'd failed 3 or 4 times for one reason or another. You know, I called myself an SEO consultant, which you really shouldn't be doing because Wikidata and everything don't like that. So I was on the 4th or the 5th one at this point, and I'm looking at Jason Bernard's got a tool that tells you where you need to be on. So his tool's called CaliCube. So it's like Amazon, Crunchbase, LinkedIn, Twitter. So I'm on all of these, and this one kept coming up, this IMDB thing. I didn't really know what it was prior to this. So I went in there, and obviously it stands for Internet Movie Database at the time. I'm like, how the fuck do you get on there? Because I know how to get on Crunchbase, I know how to get on LinkedIn, but how the hell am I getting on IMDB? So I just put my name into IMDB, and up popped this actor who had been in a porn flick, and he hadn't claimed his profile. So it said like unclaimed profile. So I'm like, I'm going to click and say that's mine. So I've done it, asked for the passport, uploaded that, and it's come back saying this is now your profile, edit as you see fit. So I went in and put in some bullshit around, you know, Craig's a SEO guy and successful businessman and also does a bit of acting in his spare time. And the knowledge panel triggered, believe it or not, after that. So I'm like, fucking happy days, job done. 3 months later, someone slips into my DMs on Facebook, and it's a woman, and she says, "Hi Craig, are you an actor?" And I'm like, hell, that's strange. I'm like, depends who's asking. She's like, well, what it is, my husband shares the same name with you and he's very proud of his work, but we need to know why your face is all over his IMDB profile. So I'm like, fuck. So I blocked her. I'm like, fuck this. And I'm sitting going, man, I'm on my 5th knowledge panel at this point. I'm like, I've spent thousands and thousands of pounds, you know, getting all this kind of stuff set up. And I'm like, fuck. So in my head, I'm like, it's going to go, it's going to go, it's going to go. After that woman contacted me, I'm like, in my head, I'm going to lose this knowledge panel. So I went out and I seen some other local TV series that were in and around Scotland, and they didn't know who certain actors were. So there's like Boy B, who was in such and such episode. So I'm like, that was me. So on my IMDb, it looked like I had been in 5 or 6 different things, and I was just trying to skew the data so that this woman didn't think that I was pretending to be her husband. That was in my mindset. Anyway, another 3 months goes past, and this guy gets in touch and he's like, "Hi Craig, are you an actor?" And I'm like, fucking not this pish again. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, oh, I've seen that you've been in this, this and this, and you've got tattoos, and I've watched your YouTube, and I think you'd be great for a part in this crime series. And I'm like, what? I'm like, fuck. So I thought it was one of my mates trolling me. So I'm like, dude, come to my office, and you know, I'm happy to talk about it or whatever. Lo and behold, the guy comes to the office and we're talking away, and he's like, I'd like you to have this part. And I'm like, sure, I'll do it, no problem at all. So he leaves and I'm going, fuck, this is a sure. I'm going to have pictures of me in a film and all that stuff. I'm just thinking of this, IMDB's now real for me. So I went and I turned up to filming, and the people that were also in the thing were like shaking my hand. Oh, it's great to be working with such an experienced actor like you, Craig, and all that stuff. So I just ran with it and done my thing. And after it, the guy after it was like, fuck, dude, you were really good. Like total natural in front of camera. You're funny, you do what we're asking and all that stuff. And he's like, do you want to be in the whole fucking series? And I'm like,
what?
Fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
And as I say, that was my introduction to that, and all just because I wanted to trigger a knowledge panel, because I had people slipping in my DMs and I'm like, dude, like, what's this acting shit? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, don't ask, because I didn't know if it was going to work or not at the time. Like, I'm like, don't ask. And they're like, what, no, but tell me. But that was the reason. So I've done all of that kind of filming just for an IMDB link. Now you can actually go and buy it yourself on legit. You can, if you've got a podcast, you can place it in IMDB. Now, when I was doing this, IMDB was strictly for people who were on the end screen credits of a movie. But now podcasts and all that can be uploaded now, so it's a lot easier to get into. So don't do it my way. I didn't know. My mindset was, I need on that fucking IMDB, because I'd done the Amazon thing. I'm like, how did I get on Amazon? I launched a book. I used Jasper AI at the time and shit out some shitty book and got my Amazon link. But the next one was IMDB, and I'm just like, by hook or by crook, I am going to be on IMDB. I don't care what happens.
You're listed on quite a few shows and movies. Only one of those was legitimate. You were only on one, right?
Oh, no. There is a few now since then. So there should be something on there called Psycho Sex Dolls, which I think was...
I saw that one.
released. I think it was just released a couple of days ago, actually. Psycho Sex Dolls. I had to be careful of that one. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell you briefly. So when I was in the Crime Lord thing, I had a 21-year-old girlfriend in it. And there was a scene in it where she has OnlyFans, and I was telling my friend, I'm like, sometimes we go on OnlyFans and I rough her up and all this kind of stuff. So the girl's got her legs wrapped around my neck and all this kind of stuff. Acting, of course. And I never said much to my wife about it, but my wife was sitting watching it with me. I was in the doghouse for about a month. She's just like, what the actual fuck is going on? So I was actually asked to have a bigger part in Psycho Sex Dolls, and I'm like, dude, I will get murdered if I'm on there, because they are literally fucking AI dolls in that movie. And I'm like, I can be in it, but I can't be doing that stuff. But there's a few in there that I have been in for real now. Maybe 50% of them are real and 50% I wasn't.
I'm fascinated by, first of all, like, that this was a legit opportunity that came from somebody seeing your profile on IMDb. Like, people go to drama school for years. It's one of the hardest professions to break into. So is it that easy that you can just be in pursuit of a knowledge panel and then an acting career lands on your path? That's just like an insane thing to happen, isn't it?
Here's the thing, Chris. I don't know how much you know about this acting school and all that, right? So people go to acting school for this. Now, there's a platform out there called Spotlight, and to be on Spotlight, you have to have done the acting school thing, and you also have to have been on the end screen credits before you can become a qualified actor. Now, I just went on to Spotlight and threw in my IMDb, which was all full of bullshit. Boom, I'm on there. And the guy who was the director from Crime Lord is like, Craig, do you know that people have actually been to acting school and everything and still cannot get Spotlight? Like, what the fuck did you do? And I'm like, nothing. I just put forward my IMDb, which has obviously got a lot of old bullshit on it, but it ticked all the boxes in terms of doing that. And I got onto Spotlight, where I was then signed up by an acting agent who then got me gigs and other things. So absolutely, it's like you rocking up and just going, fuck it, I'm selling it. You sometimes just got to wing your way in to things, and if you don't, then someone else will, and they're running away with all the money or whatever it may be. So I think the one lesson I took from that is you can blag your way into that stuff, absolutely, and it doesn't pay a lot, because a lot of people are like, are you going to do more of this stuff? And I'm like, nah, acting doesn't pay the same as what SEO does, so I think I'll leave it. For now, dude, if Hollywood come calling, I'll be there.
I think it's indicative of your mindset and your attitude, though, to the industry in which you're in, isn't it? Like, you're a tester, a tweaker. You like to break stuff. I think that's why you've been successful in SEO. And if that permeates into the rest of your personality, it's just like that yes men mentality, isn't it? Like opportunities present themselves. Is awesome story. Absolutely awesome.
You know, a lot of people ask me, what would you say is the key to your success? And I think it's that mentality. Like, it's not that I am the most technical, gifted guy in the world, but I'm a guy that would try and push and push and push and not accept defeat. If I can't get something, I'll go round about the houses to learn it. That is the one thing that I've got that maybe sets me apart from some other people. And I think most of us in this industry who have had some degree of success with running our businesses and stuff, we're all probably very, very similar. We just don't take no for an answer, and we just try shit and blow shit up. And that's where I laugh at a lot of SEOs, where you're like, I can see exactly what you're doing. I can see exactly what type of character you are. I've been there myself and done it and bullshitted and said the wrong things and spoke to the wrong people, and it's just funny, mate. But I think our industry is rife with that, man, and it's funny to see. And some people are just not good with lying, and those are the ones that are maybe less successful or whatever. Well, I'm not saying you have to be a liar to be successful, but you just got to push the boundaries, mate. And that is what I've always done. You know, as a kid, entering the SEO space, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. I was making it up as I was going along, but I tried and tested things and was never going to accept defeat. And 23 years later, I'm still here and probably still not figured it all out. But I think it's definitely a mentality thing, and maybe I would say it's also partly a Glaswegian thing. Like, Glaswegians would just try anything to get in anywhere, and you're just like, this is the job for me. Like, I don't know how many Glaswegians you've met, but you go to Glasgow, mate, like, they don't care. If they want into a concert or whatever and they've not got a ticket, they're going to figure a way out to get in through the wall, whether they have to smooch with a woman, whether they have to hide under someone's coat, they will somehow blag their way in. And I think that's the mentality that stood well for me.
I think that's a trait that works well in SEO. Figure it out. There's a lot of just don't follow the herd. Figure things out, try things. A bit of fake it till you make it, which is interesting that worked in acting. I think that's one area you would think fake it till you make it wouldn't really work. Like going in the back door, here, I've actually been acting when you never have. I think that's quite interesting.
I had a guy in my podcast, a guy called Dan Pena. Don't know if you guys are aware of who he is. He's an absolute crazy guy, old school American guy. He's on YouTube, you should check him out. And he says, even now, see, going to the banks and asking for money, they're desperate to give people money. You just got to ask for it. And everyone's got this thing where you can't just go in and say, give me $1 million for this, that, or the next thing. And he's like, you can absolutely fucking do that. The banks are desperate to give you fucking money. So I think we all have this kind of brainwash mentality where this shouldn't happen or that shouldn't happen. But I think in most walks in life, I think whether you look at politics, whether you look at anything, I think there's bullshit staring you in the face everywhere you look. And as I get older, I'm like, fuck. Like, if I could only go back 25 years and start again, and retain the brain that I've got, I would just push so much more boundaries than I have. And I've always been kind of standoffish with certain things, like you say, maybe you're not supposed to do that in acting. Says who? If Jack Nicholson or some of these kind of actors were to sit down and actually talk about things, I'm pretty sure one of those top actors has fucking winged his way in somewhere along the lines, or bought someone a fucking nice bottle or something and got themselves into a movie that they should never have been in. So I don't really see it as being different in any walk of life, really. Other than, maybe if you're a fucking NASA guy or whatever, I don't think you can walk in there and start playing with that kind of stuff. But
you can't fake being a doctor, right?
Yeah, nothing like that.
Catch me if you can.
There are people who do it, though. There are people who fucking do it.
Maybe on that one you shouldn't, though.
What happened to the guy, the legit guy, and his wife? Do you still have the profile under? He was an actual actor, wasn't he? And the wife.
Yeah, they scrubbed that out of my IMDB, so it's kind of greyed out. So that particular porn flick, he's got his own profile with that on it, and it's been taken off mine. And mine's because I have really been an actor now, and I've been in multiple podcasts and everything else. Is now my own profile.
Awesome.
They got segmented somehow. I got to keep that one.
Okay, so the moral of the story is test stuff and break stuff. So it's been a crazy few months, years, let's say, with the industry, that everything's going on. I'm interested, what are you excited about testing, breaking? Where is your focus and attention right now?
AI agents is something, AI's been around for a couple of years now, and I think everyone's been excited. We've seen the tools that slam out 500 articles an hour and all that kind of stuff. I've never been one to jump fully into that, because I was always like, I want to sit back and see what works before I start making decisions as to how well things are going to go and things like that. But now knowing what I know and having had a look at AI agents and stuff, I think there's a massive opportunity there for people to take advantage. And, you know, a lot of people think an AI agent, and there are some AI agents that are literally out the box. I wouldn't really call them an AI agent as such, but you train this to be like you. So I want to, the biggest thing that I'm poor on is time. I can't replace myself in a business, but can I build an AI agent who does a lot of the tasks that I do in the tone that I speak in? So whether it be content, social media, writing a newsletter, writing a blog post, whatever it may be, absolutely I can do that and train that model to be me. But a lot of people still think it's pulling from ChatGPT or whatever. You know, you've got the RAG system, or a database, if you like, where you can put in the information where it pulls from that. So you can control output of that information rather than just relying, because we know that maybe ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, it does get things wrong, sometimes pulling from third-party sources, whereas you can have your AI agent pull from only your source and base, so that it says everything you've said, whether that's you putting in old blog posts, transcribing your YouTube videos and podcasts, tweets, LinkedIn posts, all of that stuff, and you can then get that to replicate you to some degree. And that's something I think most business owners would like. You know, we all complain about not having good content writers who turn up every day, that are reliable. Get an AI agent to do it. Build it to suit your business or your personal brand or whatever it is you've got. And obviously the setup fees are a pain, but long term, it's going to save you a hell of a lot of money. You know, these things are a lot more reliable than human beings. I'm not saying that AI is going to take over the world or anything, but I think, you know, AI agents and automation within businesses is something that businesses have to look at. You know, businesses have been looking for years to pay specialists to come in and maybe reduce the workforce by 20% by automating certain tasks within a business. And obviously now with AI agents and everything else that's in front of us, even more so, I think, you know, that opportunity is there. And I think it's just very exciting times. A lot of people are scared, SEO's going to die and all of this kind of stuff. I genuinely, you know, it may not die. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think things will happen that quick, but I do know that, you know, when you're involved in this industry, you have to kind of adapt, pivot and stuff like that. And I think AI for any business, whether you're building a personal brand, doing a blog, doing newsletters and everything else that we would typically do as SEOs, can you take away a lot of the grunt work that's involved there by building your own AI agent? Absolutely. And I'm not saying absolutely this AI agent that I've got built is going to dominate the world, but it's going to help me and obviously be developed over a period of time. It might massively blow up in my face and it might not do anything, but I think it's exciting times, and the output and everything I am massively excited about. You know, it's been tested to the hilt and I think it's looking good, man. So that's what's exciting me just now.
Well, we're hearing a lot of people talk about AI agents in the marketing space, but I feel like a lot of it is very future related. They're talking about things you'll be able to do, giving cool examples, but I haven't seen a lot of people showing what they're actually doing in their business. You said you're having one delivered today. So what exactly will the one you've had built, what will it do in your business?
It's going to claim his IMDB profile and destroy his life.
Basic. I want it to do tweets for me. I want it to do LinkedIn posts for me. I want it to do expert opinions to journalists for me. I want it to do blog posts for me and a lot of things like that. Now, I am not going to automate that full process right now. Now, I could get this to do that and then post it in social media. I don't trust it enough yet to have it all singing, all dancing. So at the start, I want the basic build, fine tune it, build the database, and then add on the automation once I am 100% convinced this is not going to shoot myself in the foot. Now, whether I go down the route of tying it in with Make or we get the developer to do it all within the interface that I've got, I don't know. I don't know. You know, he was like that to me. Do you want it to do this and ping it out on your LinkedIn and all that stuff? And I'm like, not yet. I need to be able to check it first. I just don't trust it that much just yet. But maybe in 6 months' time, that would be something I would be looking to adapt. So for now, it's basic for me. You know, I'm going to start writing a newsletter with it and stuff like that as well. So things like that, I think, are going to help me do a lot of that stuff, because I'm not really doing too much of that, and I should be doing a hell of a lot more. I think the AI agent using my tone and information that I have actually fucking said is perfect, and I could feed in this podcast when it goes live and say, here's what we spoke about, and it's going to, you know, the output is going to pull from what was mentioned here. So I think, you know, you can determine the quality of it rather than just leaving it to chance, and, you know, it's pulling some ropey post that I don't know, James Dooley's thrown up on Business Insider, and it's pulled that as verbatim. So that's what scares me. And I'm only joking about James Dooley doing that, but well, half joking. But yeah, so it's just a kind of basic build. See how we go, learn it all, and adapt as we go, and tweak as we go. And it's not something that I'm going to sell to other people. It's just for me and my business. I do plan on selling custom builds to other people, though. That is something, if I can demonstrate this and people see value in it, absolutely, you know, we can do that for other people. You know, that's the thing about an AI agent, though. It's on you to train the model to give it the output that you want. So with an AI agent, if you come along to me, Chris, I'm not going to blame Nick, I'm just going to blame you, Chris. I feel like I can do that. Let's say you come along and you've got one shitty little blog post, you're a new business and you've got one blog post. The output from that is not going to be great, because you've only given it a blog post to work with, to, you know, feed it. When you go to the gym and you want to build muscle, you know, you need to give your body protein, or if you want your car to drive, you need to give it fuel. If you don't give the AI agent the information, it will impact the output. And I think it's beggars belief that people still think that there's this special thing that is just going to pop up and tell everyone your whole life story and do it very accurately without any kind of problems. And that is the big thing with an AI agent. You need to put in a bit of grind to build that database. And for me, I don't mind doing that. I've done hundreds of podcasts, I've done hundreds of blog posts, I've done hundreds of speaking engagements, and I can take all of that and feed that into the system so that things just happen 10 times faster. So that's the plan. We'll see how it pans out. I'm excited about it. I've not been excited about anything as much in the last few years as this. So I definitely think it's got big legs in it, man.
I'm interested to know, first of all, what system your agents are being built on, because obviously we're doing a lot of testing ourselves. So I'm interested to know, and if you've had much input as well, or if you just left it to the development team to sort of give you back what you've asked for. And then on the training side, how are you inputting that fine-tuned data? Is it in like a structured way that your developers asked you, just give me like structured content of stuff that you've said, or how does that training process look like?
So the training process is, we're actually going to be using a Google Sheet, believe it or not. I think that is going to be, because I want the ability to upload and remove information. So let's say I've got a blog post that talks about something GMB related, for example, from 3 or 4 years ago that's no longer relevant. I want to be able to take that out of the database, because I don't want that ever being spat out by this tool because it's no longer relevant or accurate. So I wanted the ability to do that, and they were like, we can just use a sheet to pull from. So at the moment it will pull from that sheet. The sheet is going to be the database,
like
and
a Google Sheet,
stuff like that. When we talk about technology and everything else, we're trying and testing a lot of stuff just now. So for example, it's hooked up with Telegram, believe it or not. So if I'm so I can go on my desktop and I can go onto my interface and I can get it to do whatever I want it to do, but there's not an app for it. So if I'm sat in an airport, for example, and I'm bored, I could just get the phone out and go, fuck it, go onto Telegram, and Telegram will talk to the agent and the database, and it will give me my tweet or whatever it's going to be on Telegram. So what technology, the full thing, and that's just a kind of cost saving thing as well. Just now we can of course get an app developed and all that kind of stuff, but we're fucking around just now to see the output first and foremost before we really focus too much in terms of the polished article, if you like, at the end of it. So yeah, I could get an app built, but we're using Telegram just now to so I can sit on my phone and still get the output. But in terms of my work, there's 3 of us involved in it. One's a developer who you won't know. He's not known, and the other one's Ryan Durrani. Ryan Durrani is a lot more technical than me, so he's my middle guy who knows what's possible in terms of all of that stuff. So that is the guy who will tell me if I'm getting my pants pulled down, or if I'm being outrageous asking for this, and this. He'll go, dude, you're asking for something that just can't happen. That is a problem for me, and probably a problem for guys like you. Maybe I'm wrong, but most marketers or SEO guys don't know what can and can't be done in terms of technology and tools and everything else. So I'm relying on those guys to do that. In terms of platform or technology or whatever, I have no clue, dude, what to say on that. I could not fucking tell you. I have got a URL that I log into that gives me the output, but what that's plugged into, I know it's got multiple API keys pulling from different places.
You know what it's on? DeepSeek or OpenAI? No? Okay.
I have no fucking clue. You could ask Ryan Durrani, he would be able to tell you, but I would be guessing. But what you've said there, none of those names ring a bell. So I would like to say I've seen the word Anthropic thrown around somewhere. I don't know exactly what that does or what it is, but I have not actually been involved in a lot of the actual build calls. I'm the type of guy, it's just like, this is what I want, go fucking build it and bring it back to me and let me see it. The rest of it, the one thing I said at the end of the call to the developer was, what if you get hit by a bus, mate? Is this mine? Where is it hosted? And shit like that. And it's hosted on the cloud somewhere, Amazon or something. I know that much, but I'm like, if you get hit by a bus, like, what happens to my fucking AI agent? That's just the way I think. But, you know, in terms of all the other stuff, I know it's got multiple API keys, but I am not the technical guy behind it. You know, we've got the developer and we've got Ryan, who's in between. You know, he understands, he's very technical, but he also understands SEO. So he's my kind of go-between. So I'm rough when it comes to development, mate. I'm terrible.
Okay, cool. But the output's good.
Oh, insane.
So far, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting times.
You mentioned journalist request in there, or pitching journalist. How are you planning to use it for that? Are you planning to fully automate that process, or how far can you take that?
I think you could pretty much automate the full process, but at the start, no, I don't want it to do all of that. I have built up a journalistic database, as I'm sure you guys have in the past, of people who know me as an expert in digital marketing. And when they need something, the journalists now reach out to me. I just want to be able to spit them out something quick and easy without thinking about it. So when that email comes from them, I will just go into the tool and do it manually for now. I could automate the full process, but I am concerned just now. I just don't have the confidence in it to say this will be accurate 100% of the time. So if I play with this for 3 or 4 months, is that something I would then try and automate that full thing? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. And that is where I think people try and make these things overnight, and we don't know everything that we want it to do. There's going to be a lot of testing, there's going to be a lot of breaking things, there's going to be a lot of change. We've tried this, but I don't like that, but can we make it do this? So for me, that's why it's a kind of basic build, and then after that, once we're good with the output and confident that it's never thrown up anything, then I will maybe in 6 months' time or a year's time, then double down on the automation side.
I think that's a really, really cool insight into the process. Having access to that middleman or somebody just a notch above, because I'm the exact same as you. I don't know the limitations of the stuff, yet I am fascinated by it. There's a new tool out called Bolt.new, which lets you basically code in natural language, and then it houses everything like within the frame, and it can let you build like Figma pages, fully working tools. It can pull in APIs for you. It can do all this stuff. And there are so many things that we could we could build like that as an agency. So I'm like, oh, we should do this. But then I don't know what's possible, what's the limit. And like my knowledge stops there, and then I sort of give up. I love the idea of, like, if you don't know fully, then if you can find someone that you at least bounce your ideas off to get a gauge what you can do and what is possible, at least then you have direction for where you could invest your time and money to build something that truly is going to make a difference in the business, isn't it?
That's it. Like, guys like us could rattle off ideas all day. Like, we know what we have to do to be successful, but we just don't know what technology can be applied to that to automate it. Or certainly that's my perspective. So that's where I love talking to these guys. And I'm like, dude, is that possible? Is that possible? That possible? And yeah, it's interesting, but it's horrible at the same time, because sometimes you feel like you're asking for the outrageous, and sometimes you are, but I try to apply a bit of common sense. But, you know, dude, I done a conference talk once in Poland, and a guy came up to me before it and he says, Craig, when you're doing your presentation, I'm not fucking interested in anything you say that I can't automate. Just tell me everything that can be automated. I don't give a fuck about anything else. If I can't automate it, I'm not interested. And I thought, fuck. And I spoke to that guy after my presentation, and some of the tools and some of the stuff that guy was automating, and this was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, was fucking insane. Insane. Stuff I've never seen. I just didn't even know was humanly possible. He was a developer guy that liked SEO. He's just one of those ones that he knew enough about SEO to be able to automate a lot of stuff, and it was insane, and he made a lot of money, mate. So I'm always intrigued by guys like that who are doing better and smarter things than me.
That's a good combo. If you can automate, you can do technical stuff, and you know SEO, that's a dangerous combo. I think for most people, they try and do it, and what you mentioned was being really careful with it, knowing the limitations, making sure the input was really good, and then being careful with the output, not just pushing it out there. What most people do is they just go to ChatGPT, they put something quick in, and then they just run with the garbage that comes out. And when some of these AI tools first came out, we really saw this in the digital PR space. The journalists were getting spammed all of a sudden because you could, people figured out how to automate the system, and then they were just doing that. It's just AI pitches. So I think what you mentioned there is really important. When you're building something like this, pay a lot of attention to the inputs, making sure that like you're fine tuning and what you're coming out with is good, and not just automating it until you've gotten that process down.
Exactly. It's quality. For me, I don't want to really be associated with shit, if that makes sense. So, it's important that it's not like you said, journalists, or Harrow and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if Harrow's still a thing or it died or whatever, but I can only imagine why that was, not as successful in recent years, because those journalists must have been getting 40,000 messages a day for every thing that they wanted. And how would you ever be able to land something in there without it being pure pot luck? Because no one's got the physical manpower to go through 40,000 emails a day. That's just insanity. And that's where I think a lot of SEOs shoot themselves in the foot. We get things, we scale and automate and just blow the whole fucking thing up. And then, even when it comes to outreach and reaching out to journalists, I had to build my own system to reach out to journalists focusing on deliverability, because if I was doing it through Roxhill or Muckrack or whatever, it wasn't getting in their inboxes. It was sat in their spam folder because every Tom, Dick and Harry's doing it. So you're always trying to find a way to do something better or cleverer than the next guy, because these jackasses, and I include myself in that, are fucking wrecking it. And when I built that, it's not a clever system, it's just making sure that deliverability is a hell of a lot higher and stuff like that. I was able to land a lot more links. Easy peasy. It's not fucking rocket science, but if you're just going to jump into that cesspit that everyone else is in and just spam the shit out of it, no one wins. No one.
Yeah, very good point. What was that, a self-build system that you did then?
Yeah, I just used one of the kind of top, I don't want to say the name because everyone will fucking do it, but and used multiple emails, custom email addresses and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it's all stuff that you guys have probably fucking done a million times over, but I was blindly going in through Roxhill and just messaging all the journalists and wondering why no one ever fucking replied. And I'm like, the pitches are really good. Why are people not picking this up? And it took a while to sink in, going, these ain't landing. Because I'm looking at other people in the industry and I'm like, how is that fucking crap article possibly been published? That is fucking insane. Obviously, it was landing in the old journal's inbox, and they're not really giving a fuck. They're just doing what they need to do to meet their KPIs, and that's it. So yeah, you've always just got to think a bit more like a mechanic, if you like. Just, why is that not working? We need to fine-tune something underneath and stuff like that. And as I say, if something doesn't work for me, I don't ever really just throw the towel in. I'll always go, fuck it, I'm going to try another route. And that worked well for me. You've probably got a much better system than me for doing it, but you probably ran into the same problems at some point as well.
Yeah, 100%. And it's something which is... we have to be aware of. That's just getting harder and harder with the changes that Google made in Yahoo. Email deliverability is going to be like one of the other things to think about in terms of good results. And so if we can use AI or automations or agents or anything that we can do to overcome the obstacles quicker, faster, better than the competition, which is everybody else that's pitching this stuff, then we're going to be a winner. Craig, one thing you haven't automated yet or using an AI generated image of is your lovely face on your massive YouTube channel of over 1 million subscribers. So congratulations on that. You got your lovely trophies there in the background. As we come up to the end of the conversation, are you still bullish on YouTube? Can you give our listeners some any YouTube words of wisdom for growth and success?
I think with YouTube, absolutely. I think I am going to be coming back with a bang with a lot more content. I think sometimes you do stuff and you burn out, or you don't have anything that important to say. And I wouldn't just say stuff for the sheer hell of just shooting stuff out there. But, YouTube's something I've had for maybe 8 or 9 years. And I think it's a great way if you're building a personal brand or trying to get yourself out there or whatever it is you're trying to do. I think it's a great platform. A lot of people think that there's some special kind of cheat trick to do it. I've got 1,200 videos on there. I've done a lot of podcasts, including with you, Chris. I've done every possible person in the SEO community. I've done a podcast with them. I've done live streams. I've done more than 500 question and answer sessions on live streams. I've got tons and tons and tons of tutorials and stuff. And it's all just about consistency and doing it. I think probably for the first 3 or 4 years on YouTube, I didn't have any real success to talk about. It was just laying those foundations and building up your profile, speaking at events and everything else. But I think there comes a time when you're going to a Chiang Mai SEO and you're doing all these kind of other events that everything just seems to pull together. It's not easy, but I think YouTube is something that is very, very good. You guys clearly do a lot of it. I think it's a great platform. Google, we're getting shoved further and further down all the time with the AI overview and everything else, but YouTube is still a great source of traffic and information, and I think a lot of people are obviously scared to put their face out there for one reason or another, and I get it's not for everyone, but I think if you are comfortable, I would be advising you to do so, because if you don't, someone else is, and they'll run away with all of the money. You don't need to have the fanciest camera in the world. You don't need to spend thousands and thousands of pounds. You can literally do it on an iPhone and just start cranking out some stuff. And sometimes you're always thinking, what's the next best thing? Sometimes it doesn't have to be the next best thing. Just giving the basics away to people, who's your audience, who are you trying to target, and just giving some basic tips and advice and just covering off the basics is a thing that a lot of people don't even do. You look at a lot of channels and it's always someone trying to come up with the newest, best hack, but they don't even have the basics covered off. Just very basic things. So I think there's a lot to be said about YouTube in terms of traffic, money, and everything else, but people also come to me going, Craig, I can't be bothered with YouTube because I heard that AdSense is fucking dog shit and you don't get paid a lot for it. And that is absolutely true. You don't get paid a lot for AdSense, but when you're putting your face out there or you're doing brand deals or working with people or you've got YouTube sponsors, you can actually make quite a lot of money. It's not just about that AdSense revenue either, and I think a lot of people I speak to, that's one of the first questions I always get asked is, AdSense revenue shit in it? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, so why do you do it? And I'm like, because that's not really how I make money. That's not the goal. You're using the platform for a lot more than the AdSense revenue. So I think you need to be prepared to grind it out and spend a hell of a lot of time doing it and doing podcasts and whatever else you can do. Mix it all up and you'll start to see a trend of shit that gets more engagement and what works and stuff like that. And there's no special way to determine that. You've just got to look around you, look at the competition, and then just get shit done. And I look at guys like Chris Palmer and stuff. I mean, that guy is cranking out videos every other day, still religiously. He's just an animal. And I've worked with Chris for 5 years doing live streams and stuff, and he's still not cracked it completely, but he spent the last 5 years cranking out videos every day. That is someone who will be successful on YouTube. I mean, he's already successful on it, but he's got that determination. Everyone seems to think after 20 videos that you should all of a sudden have, all of these followers and all of this money. That is not true. It's going to take a lot more time and effort than that, because we done our podcast, Chris, how long ago? Maybe probably during COVID times when I was interviewing a lot of these SEO people.
It was just after, probably, I think. Just after.
Probably just after, yeah. So probably 2020, 2021, through that phase of not being able to go to events, and I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to get people on YouTube and we'll just chat about what you do and how you've got into the industry and all of that kind of stuff, because I feel that there's people who love hearing that anyway. It's not for everyone, but I thoroughly enjoy it and I like hearing other people's stories. So I would double down on it if you've got that kind of mindset.
Well, we're in the agency space, and I think a lot of people, they want to do YouTube for lead gen, grow their business, not interested in becoming a huge YouTube celebrity, doing daily videos. If you're in that situation, what kind of content, you mentioned creating the basics, should you be focused on keywords? Like, how do you kind of build that initial content plan for YouTube?
Absolutely. I think, keywords is key. And I think SEMrush have a section on there. If you go up to their apps, they've got a YouTube tracker, YouTube keyword research. People go to, YouTube's a search engine the same as Google is, and people do look for how to do this, or, I don't know, whatever it may be, how to do digital PR or digital PR experts or whatever, you've got to tailor your videos to suit that, whether that be through the title, the description, the thumbnail and everything else. And you have to have that keyword focus. You can't just shit out video after video just going round in circles. There has to be some form of structure and thought process that goes behind it. Well, why am I doing this video and what's the end goal? Is it to sell AI agents? Maybe, but I would be then thinking, right, what sort of shit do people look for when looking for AI agents? Is it going to come in through an educational thing because they don't know what it is? What is an AI agent's capabilities? I may do a video on that and then make a playlist of stuff, and the end goal is come and buy a custom built AI agent. But people don't want to do the 10 steps before it, educating people. They just want to rank for buy AI agent or whatever the search term would be. That is the mentality, I think, with a lot of people. They just think they've got some God-given right to just drop in one video and in comes all of this stuff. 80% or 90% of the videos out there are educational and informational. They're not there for any other reason other than to rank well and educate people. From that will come in a lot of money. It's like a website. You can't just have a website now or an affiliate website that just says buy this, buy that, or the best this or the best that. Those websites have been flushed down the toilet pan. And I also think with YouTube and various other things, people want information. It doesn't have to be cold hard sales all the time. If you're, as an agency owner, educating and you become an expert in the space that you're in, people will come and give you money. They'll be like, I seen you guys doing this and you spoke about that. I want some of that. Like, sort me out. Because what I see some YouTubers going, why would you give it all away, all the information away? I can guarantee you that if I met 100 SEOs tomorrow, I could drop everything in their fucking lap. Everything. And 99 of them will not do a fucking thing about it. Not a fucking thing. They want it done for them. And people are scared to open up on YouTube in fear of giving too much away. It goes in one ear and out the other with most of these people. They just want someone to say, I'll fucking do it for you. You've also got to have that kind of mindset as well, and don't be scared to give up too much. By all means, don't give away all of your secrets, but I think you've got to give up enough to stand out from the crowd as well, and not just say buy this and buy that, and I'm not telling you why, because that doesn't work.
Yeah, really, really awesome stuff, Craig. I completely agree. If I just think about the people that I follow, it's the people that you feel like are just giving you absolute truth and value, and then, at some point you will become their customer because you trust them, you enjoy what they've given you, don't feel like they're holding it back. You watch some of these YouTube videos, TikTok tutorials or whatever, and it's, they've said nothing. You get to the end of it and you've got more questions than you have answers, and it's just, like
a webinar, like the classic marketing webinar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Craig, look, we've kept you for a long time. It's been absolutely amazing having you on. Can you just first of all let us know the release date of any upcoming movies so we can make sure we get to the cinema to catch them?
I think Crazy Sex Doll one. That's
Psycho Sex Dolls was released on the 31st of January, I believe. But if you're in it to see me, I've only got a very small part in that one, so it's on Amazon Prime, I think. I'd need to double check that, but that is the latest one that's coming out. But there is some other stuff that has been filmed that's just not been released yet, and a lot of people don't realise the time and effort after recording a film to edit and piece it all together is fucking outrageous, mate. Outrageous amounts of times. I had no idea. Everything's filmed from 4 angles. So, if I'm doing a scene and I'm shouting at you, Chris, it's getting filmed from that direction, then that direction, then that direction, then that direction, and then someone's got to piece all that together and, cut in and out, and just for that one little section. So imagine trying to do that across a whole fucking film. It's astronomical, mate. It takes months and months and months to pull together. I think Psycho Sex Dolls, I think that was filmed the week after I came back from Chiang Mai in 2023. That's just been released to the public now. So
have you had any whispers for maybe if they do White Lotus season 4 in Scotland? I know they just did the latest season in Thailand. Maybe they do it in Scotland and they ask you to be in that?
Maybe, mate. If the money's right, I'll follow that. So we'll see what happens. But no real aspirations to do anything.
Did you enjoy it?
It was fun. It was certainly a lot of fun understanding how the process worked, and
I bet, being
outside your comfort zone sometimes. Nice, if that makes sense, where sometimes when you're doing this stuff you're just like robotic going through the motions, but being outside your comfort zone was weirdly nice for me. I know it's only acting and it's not that much outside your comfort zone, but I think a lot of people would maybe freeze with multiple cameras pointing on you and multiple people watching when this stuff's going on. So I enjoyed it, mate, and I'll do more. Absolutely. I like working with a guy who filmed or the director from Crime Lord and Psychosex Doll, so I like working with him. He gets me and understands how I operate and stuff, so working with cool guys like that who get it and having a lot of fun, it's wild, mate. I never thought I'd be able to sit at home and watch me on a screen, so
it's amazing.
It's fun, but not quite Hollywood, but it's probably the closest I'll get to it, mate. So yeah, it's funny.
It's closer than I'll ever get, so I think it's pretty cool.
Never say never, Nick. You never know.
I'm going to go claim my AMD profile now. All right, Craig, it's been a fantastic talk. Thank you for coming on, and we'll put links to all your accounts in the show notes.
Legend. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Craig.
Cheers.
Take care.
And that wraps up this episode of Market Movers, Building Brands and Links with Linkify. Big thanks to our parent company, Linkify, the wizards behind turning ambitious businesses into standout brands. Hit up our website at linkify.io and take the first steps towards brand greatness. Big shout out to Fame for making this podcast possible. Thanks for listening, folks. Stick around for more insights in our next episode. Catch you later.